Okay, what's up guys? Paul here with a quick hot take reaction video for you guys today. Now, it wouldn't take the legendary detective Sherlock Holmes to figure out the topic I'm going to cover and talk about today. Yes, of course, you guessed it. It is the by now infamous, iconic and memeable moment in which Will Smith, to quote the victim, Chris Rock, slapped the shit out of Chris Rock at the Oscars on Sunday night. You've all seen it. You all know what happened. You don't need me to sit here and explain it like I'm on the 6 o'clock news or something. Let's just go right ahead to watching it for a quick breakdown, and then I'm just going to give a bit of context as to why I think Will did what he did. Yeah? So, let's get right into it. Roll the clip. Hey Jamie, pull that up.
Lord. Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right?
Let's pause it there, because I think this moment, which is about a minute, this clip is a minute and 6 seconds long, can be broken into two parts, all right? There's the initial Will Smith reaction to the joke, the natural reaction, and then there's the second reaction after seeing Jada's reaction to the joke. So my initial reaction to hearing that joke was that ain't a good one. Not one of your best pieces of work there, Mr. Rock. I think most people are a fan of Chris Rock. He's one of the modern day comedic goats. But that was just a poor joke, all right? Alopecia, hair loss, medical conditions, not stuff to be joked about. Jada Smith, she's been suffering with this for a number of years. Do you really think she's gonna sit there and genuinely laugh at that? Most stuff is fair game for celebrities, as we saw with Ricky Gervais. He really toed that line perfectly, doing the Golden Globes all those years. Laugh at their bad movies, their pretensions, their virtue signaling, maybe their fashion sense, the things they've done in the past, like being locked up in jail and stuff like that, their misdemeanors. But a physical condition which produces emotional anxiety and turmoil, nah, not a good one. And just like G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. Nah, this is poor delivery, poor articulation, zero. Terrible joke. But hey, I've got a freeze friend here, and Will is laughing along. If you look at the eyes, his eyes, by the way, look very strange to me these days. He seems to have like aged in the eyes a lot. The eyes look very tired. You might say my eyes are tired sometimes, so I might be one to talk. But yeah, he looks very different to what he used to look. Does that make sense? Not making fun of him. I'm just making an observation that his eyes look very, very tired and heavy. And if you pause it here, he's got the smile on, but the eyes are not smiling. When Irish eyes are smiling. And so, yeah, it just looks like a classic case of laugh along with the joke to look like you got a sense of humor, and then, oh shit, snap. The wife doesn't like it. Oh shit, it's an alopecia joke. That ain't cool. And now, we're gonna see Will's second and delayed reaction to what happened.
That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Oh, Richard. Oh, wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Aesthetically and technically a beautiful slap. And the way that Chris Rock took it, of course, I'm not going to make an original joke here. The memes are already all over that. Granite chin, he'd be a UFC champion. The way he took that slap, yada yada yada. It was impressive, for sure. Being a much smaller man than the agitator, Will.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
It was a G.I. Jane joke.
Keep my wife's name out your. I'm going to, okay?
I could. Oh, okay. That was
Okay, that's pretty much it now then. Chris Rock gathers his composure very impressively and continues his monologue. There's actually a funny moment there from Chris Rock. I feel like when he was like, well, I feel like he was tempted to say, I could go on and make another joke. Was he going that way? We'll never know, but it feels like he was half considering going further with it and escalating the situation, but then he decided to, raise the white flag and take the L there. But overall, he's probably taken the W, hasn't he? In the general consensus, for the way it's a consensus that it was a bad joke. I don't think anyone was slapping their legs with their side splitting at the joke. But I feel like he comes out with credit for the way that he handled it after. Now, back to Will. So, I've spoken, of course, of his initial reaction, which was in keeping very much with Will's role in this very public marriage, in which, let's be honest, everyone knows Jada wears the trousers. Jada is the undisputed alpha of the marriage. She calls the shots. She's the one who suggested the open marriage and to having extramarital affairs. It's very much known that Will wasn't really too cool with that. And, Will has been really labelled and lampooned as a cooked beta over the past year, following that infamous red table talk that Jada does with her mom, in which these women sit around a table and have all these melodramatic, emotional talks about how they need to be, more fulfilled in their relationships and in between the sheets, and how their man should give them more and all this. Fair enough, that's their prerogative. They had Will on the show the one time, and poor Will got memed the hell out of when he was crying over Jada openly admitting on TV and on YouTube and wherever else platforms her show goes that she had this entanglement with the much younger and barely well-known rapper, singer-songwriter August Alsina. And yeah, Will just had to take that. Perhaps Will has also had his flings and affairs, but he never came out with anyone publicly like that. So the way that Jada was able to just say that and Will just took an entanglement really left Will looking so weak and docile and subservient to the big alpha of the marriage. So that's why, don't worry, I'm coming full circle, that's why I think Will did what he did. I don't think it was a genuine, natural reaction of patriarchy, of alpha protection of your woman. If it was that, I'd be saluting Big Willie style right here. One of my idols growing up, just like every young man of my generation. Fresh Prince, Men in Black, the way he segged his way into the rap game with huge tracks like Miami and Big Willie style and getting jiggy with it. He was a legend. He was I Am Legend, the movie playing. He was the dude. He was that guy. But it seems like not always was he ever that guy in Jada's eyes. It's well known that she had that very close bond with Tupac Shakur. They grew up together. They did a couple of movies and musicals or things like that together. And they were like real close friends and confidants, and maybe even more. And it's like Tupac has always been lurking in the shadows of their relationship, and Will has always had to try to live up to that level set by Tupac as the archetypal thuggin' alpha, and Will just ain't ever gonna be that. He's too clean cut, he's the Fresh Prince, he's too Hollywood. And I feel like he said, this has to be my gangster moment, this has to be the moment. No, the book stops here. No more cook beta Will. I've been hearing that for the past number of years. All sorts of rumors about Will. No, I'm gonna stand up now, and I'm gonna show that I stand up for my wife and that I'm the alpha. But it just was too forced. It was too delayed and forced. It took him too long he clearly was not incensed by the joke. If he were, he wouldn't have laughed, and he wouldn't have said, I feel it's also very telling what he said by saying, keep my wife's name out your mouth. Well, no, you can't say that either. That's like saying all jokes are off the table about Jada Pinkett Smith. When you come to these shows, just as Ricky Gervais showed at the Golden Globes, it's open season. Everyone's a target for being poked fun at in a good way. Ricky did it absolutely perfectly without ever really talking about people's, a physical handicap that they might have, such as alopecia. He talked about how bad their movies were and how annoying they were as people and things like that. And he just cut to the core in that way. But by Will saying that, it showed that it wasn't about the alopecia. If it was purely about the alopecia, he would have said, do not joke about my wife in that way. Put his arm around her. He would have cuddled her and consoled her in that way. Doesn't seem to be any moment where they actually embrace right there. They're actually sitting quite distant from each other. Again, maybe another telling sign. So yeah, for me, if it was my wife, I would have been arm around. It would have been, hey, we'll speak after. That's a fucked up joke. See you. We'll talk about this after, or showing him that energy. But to go up and slap him just seemed like, this is what I gotta do. This is what Jada needs me to do in this moment. So it's a big fat L for Big Willie style here for me. He later got the W with the Oscar, just finally, as a bit of a irrelevant tangent, because nobody even remembers now that he won the Oscar for King Richard. I haven't seen the movie. I'm meaning to. Big fan of the Williams sisters, of course, and how they took over tennis coming from Compton. Much thanks to their patriarchal father, Richard. But from what I've seen, I feel like, now, granted I haven't seen the movie, I don't think he got the portrayal right of Richard Williams. I think he played him far too much like a country darn tootin' bumpkin, like a southern man, like really one-dimensional, and made him seem a bit dim. Where, from what I've seen of Richard on the Oprah Winfrey Show, there was a great interview when Venus and Serena were on the show with him, and he appeared very erudite and articulate. So I'm surprised Will got the Oscar there. He later went on to talk about God has him on this journey and yada yada. He said Denzel told him that when you're at your highest point, that's when the devil comes for you. So I don't think I have to say anything there. I'm not going to get into religious hocus pocus here, but it just seemed like another daft piece of discourse from Will on the night. Yeah? So, to sum up, yes, protect your woman, your friend, anybody who you feel has been disrespected over a serious issue such as alopecia. Bad joke. Tasteless joke. But if you laugh first and you only do something about it after, it just looks too forced, like a faux alpha move to try to impress your woman or your friend in that case. Yeah, so I definitely am going along with the fair play to Will. It was assault for a joke. There's so many better ways he could have gone about it. So yeah, that's my sum up. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you agree? Do you think it was a badass gangster move of Will to slap? I know people will think that, but I just think the delayed reaction and the keep my wife's name out of your mouth reveal and tell all that it was not about the alopecia per se. It was, I gotta show that my wife is not to be joked about, because I've been joked about all these years that I'm the cook and the beta of the relationship. Yeah, there we go, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comments. Cheers.